Hey, good afternoon to all. Please, everybody should mute your audio system. Okay, the very important chapter in the first year. So that is sexual reproduction in flowering plants. So I think already you know the structure of flower that we will discuss in our previous classes. So mainly the flower consists of four parts. So the parts are mainly divided into the two types. No? One is an essential parts and second one is a non-essential parts. One audio more. Who is it going to speak? Yeah, okay. So the flower consists of mainly four important parts. So which are called essential organs and non-essential organs. Already we know that the essential organs of the flower, so that is mainly androecium and gynoecium. Okay, so these two parts are very important to involve in the reproduction, sexual reproduction. So if you see that part, mainly the female reproductive part, so which is called as gynoecium. So this gynoecium is mainly divided into three parts. So the basal swollen part of the gynoecium is called as ovule. So just you see here, so the ovaries are present. So which is in a basal swollen part. Basal swollen part. So this basal swollen part that extended to a long tube-like structure, so which is called as style. It is called as style. So and also the style are capitated to form a stigma, so which receive the pollen grain during the reproduction. So that's why every gynoecium that has in three parts: the basal swollen part, long tube-like part, and the capitate part, which are respectively called ovary, style, and stigma. So coming to the male reproductive organs, so the male reproductive organ, so which is called as androecium, which is called as androecium. So every androecium, so that consists of one to more number of the stamens. So each stamen that having two parts. So the long fertile part of the stamen or stalk is known as filament. Called as filament, and this filament that consists of a fertile part, so which is called as anther. So when the anther is in development, so that produces the pollen grains. That produces the pollen grain. Okay, so this is in a common structure of flower. So along with that, this androecium and gynoecium, so it is also consists of calyx and corolla. Calyx and corolla. So actually the corolla nothing but, so they are mainly made up of with the petals. So that petals are vary in color to attract the insects to during the pollination services. And coming to the next one, so the green color leaf-like appendage that attach to the base of the ovary, so which are called as sepals. The sepals are constituted the calyx. So these two are considered as a non-essential part because of they are not involved in the reproduction. So that's why, so those are called as non-essential parts of the flower. So the flower part mainly divided into the four types. One is calyx, corolla, androecium, and gynoecium. So androecium is consists of three parts, that is basal, swollen part, ovary, and long tube-like spot style, and the head capitate part that nothing but it is in a stigma. So and as well as, so the androecium is also consists of mainly two parts. So the long stalk, so it is known as filament, and the filament that consists in a part, so which is nothing but it is called as an anther. So these anther produces the pollen grains, so which are act as in a male gametes, act as in a male gametes. So this is in a common structure of flower that present in the flowering plant. So now coming to that structure of microsporangium. So actually the development of that, the developments that found in the sexual reproduction of the flower, so is mainly divided so into the two phases. So one is a microsporogenesis and second one is a megasporogenesis. Microsporogenesis and megasporogenesis. So as you see here, the micro and megasporogenesis is mainly the microsporangium. So when we see that anther or like this, so it is in a basal filament like structures which is called as filament, and the filament that consists of the expandable portion on its surface, so this is called as anther. Okay, so when you go to the cross section of that anther, so we find out mainly two lobes, mainly two lobes. So here these two lobes, the each lobe that consists of a fertile tissue, that nothing but it is called as a microsporangium. So each anther that mainly consists the four microsporangium. So either it is in a dithecous anthers. So in some members like Malvaceae, so only the monothecous anthers are there. These monothecous anthers are mainly consist of the single lobe, so which consists of only the two sporangiums. Okay, so which mainly found in the Malvaceae members like Hibiscus rosa-sinensis. So when we go to that cross section of this anther, so that mainly shows the four layers. Okay, four walls are four layers. It is an important 8 marks question mark. So the structure of microsporangium. Okay, so here the four walls of that anther, that nothing but it is an epidermis, endothelium, middle layers, and tapetum layers. Okay, so beneath the tapetum layer, a tissue is present, so which is called as sporogenous tissue. Actually, this sporogenous tissue, so which is in a fertile tissue which involves in the microsporogenesis, and finally they produce the pollen grains. Pollen grains. Okay, so coming to that diagram regarding to that microsporangium, the wall of the microsporangium. So just to see here, so it is also present in your textbook. So for the outermost layer, what it is called epidermis layer. Okay, so actually the epidermis is in a single cell layer. So when you see the cross sections regarding to the anther, so it shows epidermis. That epidermis is mainly made up with the single layered cell. Okay, these single layered cells are compactly arranged, means they are tightly tightly packed, so without any spaces, Okay, so mainly these single layered epidermal cells that mainly protect the internal tissue from the external stimulus. Okay, external stimulus. So beneath the epidermis, so there is a 2 to 3 layered cells are there, so which are called as endothelial cells. Which are called as endothelial cells. So these endothelium is also give protection to the internal content. Okay, beneath the endothelium, so there are middle layers are present. There are middle layers are present. These middle layers are two or more.
అట్లొస్తే అయిపోయి అట్లొత్తలేదు
చాటింగ్ మూసేసాడా
ఫోటో పెట్టుకుంటా నేను కూడా
Akash,
సార్
one of the candidate on your audio mute just pettu.
ఓకే సార్
Okay, so actually beneath the middle layers, so there is a specialized tissue is present, so which are bigger in size compared to the middle layers and endothelium cells. So those are called as tapetum layers. Those are called as tapetum layer. So these tapetum layers are bigger in size, and they have a prominent nuclei, and they are filled with the different nutritional material. So different nutritional material. So that's why these tapetal layer that gives any nutrition to the sporogenous tissue, so which is mainly involved in the development, and finally they produce the pollen grains. Okay, so in between that two lobes, there is a connective tissue is present. So this you see that the anther cross sections. So you may take the only part of the section: connective tissue, epidermis, and middle layers, and sporogenous tissue. tapetum layers are main. Who is on your audio, ma? Who is that girl on the audio?
Vasanta Dharawat.
Vasanta Dharawat, please mute your audio. Don't turn on your audio system. Okay, so this is in a diagram that regarding to the microsporangium. Okay, mainly it consists of the four walls, that is epidermis, endothelium, Vasanta Dharawat, middle
Vasanta mute lo pettu.
and microspore mother cell. Okay, so here actually the sporogenous tissue which located in the microsporangium. So every dithecous anther mainly consists of the four microsporangiums. So in each microsporangium there are many number of the microspore mother cells are present. So the sporogenous tissue that mainly contain microspore mother cells. Okay, so these microspore mother cells undergo differentiation and division by through a meiosis process, and finally they produce the microspores. So this process is called as microsporogenesis. Okay, so actually in the anther wall, the section of the anther wall, it shows the four walls. So that is epidermis, endothelium, middle layers and tapetum layers. So beneath the tapetum layer, so there is a group of tissue is present. The tissue nothing but it is called as a sporogenous tissue. Okay, so this sporogenous tissue that mainly consists of microspore mother cells. So these microspore mother cells are divided in the process of meiosis, and finally they produce the pollen mother cells. Or pollen mother cells are produced the pollen grains or microspore tetrad, so which is also called as pollen tetrad. So just you see here, so for example, so it is a microspore mother cell or a pollen mother cell, which is also called as pollen mother cell. So it is in a sporangium. So this sporangium is mainly consists of the different number of the sporogenous tissue. The sporogenous tissue is undergo division. Finally, they produce the cells, so which are called as microspore mother cells, and which are also called as pollen mother cells. So which are called pollen mother cells. Okay, so these pollen mother cells involves because of, so actually the plants so which are diploid in condition, so that's why the anther, all cells present in the anthers is also diploid in conditions, and as well as the mother cells, pollen mother cells, which is produced from the sporogenous tissue, which is also diploid in condition. Okay, so that's why the pollen mother cells which are diploid in condition, so it consists of the 2x number of chromosomes. 2x number of chromosomes, because of the plant cell that shows the sporophytic generation is always. Okay, so these pollen mother cells that produced in the microsporangium. Okay, so which involves in the meiotic division, I already told you the differences between the meiosis and mitosis. So in the meiotic division, okay, so in the meiotic division, so the pollen mother cell or microspore mother cells which undergo meiotic division to produce the four haploid cells. So these four haploid cells are called as pollen tetrad. Okay, what it is called? Pollen tetrad. So each cell that produces the four number of the cells. Okay, these four number of the cells arranged like a tetrad manner. So that's why it is called as pollen tetrad. Okay, or microspore tetrad. Okay, so actually whatever that pollen mother cells which is diploid in condition, so when it is involved in the meiotic division, so automatically it produces haploid cells. Okay, these haploid pollen tetrad cells that mainly consists of only the single set of chromosomes. Okay, later, so these tetroids on the process of dehydration. So automatically those are dissociated and finally they produce the 4 pollen grains. 4 pollen grains. Under the pollen tetrad, the tetrad cells are separated and finally they produce the microspores, and each microspore is developed into the pollen grain. So here every pollen mother cells that produce how many number of the pollen grains? 4 number of the pollen grains. So the 2 marks questions will ask like that. So if a sporangium contain a 120 number of microspore mother cells, so how many number of the pollen grains are produced here? Each one that produces the 4. The 120 that produces the 120 into 4. How many it is? 480. 120 into 4, nothing but it is an 480. Okay, so these are pollen mother cells and which involves in the meiotic division and that produces the pollen grains. Pollen grains. Okay, so sometimes they may be asked, for example, a microsporangium, so which contain 1200 number of pollen grains. How many pollen mother cells are required for it? So the question is given like that. A sporangium that produces the 1200 pollen grains, how many number of the microspore mother cells present in the sporangium? Okay, so here how many number of the pollen grains produced by sporangium? 1200. Okay, if it is produced 1200, so the 1200 produced from how many number of the pollen mother cells? Because of it is divided with the 4. So that's why how many required? So nearly 300. Okay, the 300 microspore mother cells which involves in the meiotic division. So the finally they produce the pollen grains which are 1200. Okay, so sometimes the question is given 2 types. So one time they may be asked number of pollen grains or maybe the number of pollen mother cells. Okay, so depend upon that pollen. So if they give pollen mother cells and ask about the pollen grains, at the time you multiplication with the 4. Okay, sometimes they give the pollen grain number and ask about the pollen mother cells. At the time the pollen grain number is divided with the 4, you get the answer. Okay, so that is a microsporogenesis. Microsporogenesis. Okay, so it is a very important 4 marks question. So after that, the pollen tetrad dissociation, what will be happen? The microspores are produced. The microspores are developed as a pollen grains, so which present in the sporangium. Okay, so these microspores, when it is developed, they produce the pollen grains. Okay, these pollen grains that represents the male gametophytes. Male gametophytes. So regarding to the structure of the pollen grains, so the pollen grains are mainly 25 to the 50 micrometer in diameter. So they are mainly covered within a 2-layer. Okay, so actually they are surrounded with the two layers. Okay, commonly, so each microscope is mainly surrounded with the 2-layer. Okay, the outer layer, so which is mainly called as exine. Outer layer is mainly called as exine. So these exines is mainly composed with the sporopollenin substance. Okay, sporopollenin substance. So actually these sporopollenin substance, so which is resistant to the any organic material. So because of it is unable to break down. So under high temperature, strong acids or strong alkali, and also no enzyme can degrade this sporopollenin substances still. Okay, so that's why it is in a very strongest substances that found in the outermost layer of the pollen grain. Okay, what is the substance? So which is in a sporopollenin. Sporopollenin. Okay, so actually these exine that have in a prominent as gem pore, which are called as gem pore. So when you see that exine, so you can find out some apparatus like structures, so which are called as gem pores. So through this gem pore only the pollen grain is germinated. Okay, so actually in the gem pore region, the sporopollenin is absent. Sporopollenin is absent. That's why the internal layer or inner layer of that pollen grain that produce in a tube-like structures through these germs only. Okay, so the inner wall of the pollen grain is mainly called as intine. So outer layer is called as exine, and inner layer is called as intine. So intine is mainly made up of with the substances which are called as cellulose and pectin. Cellulose and pectin. So commonly, so each microspore, for example, it is in a microspore which is disintegrated from that pollen tetrad, and so these microspore is mainly divided in a mitotic division to produce two unequal sized cells. Two unequal sized cells, and these two cells are called vegetative cell and generative cells. The bigger cell, so it is in a vegetative cell, and the smaller cell, so which is in a generative cell. Okay, the vegetative cell is in a bigger one, and the generative cell is in a smaller one. Okay, so they have a large irregular shaped nucleus, and especially the vegetative cells, so which preserve the food material. So that is helpful for the production of pollen grain, pollen tube, germination of the pollen grain into the pollen tube, and at the time of reproduction. At the time of reproduction. Okay, so regarding to the generative cells, I already told you. So it is in a very small, and the cell which floats in the cytoplasm of the vegetative cell. Because of the vegetative cells, when move their cytoplasm, the generative nucleus which enters into the pollen tube and finally reaches at the tip of the pollen tube. So nearly in 60% of the angiospermic plants, that pollen grains are released at the two-celled stage. I already told you each pollen grain are microspore which undergo meiotic division, so they produce the two cells. So in this two-celled condition, the microsporangium walls are ruptured. That's nothing but it is an anther walls are ruptured, and when they are dehiscent, automatically the pollen grains are released. At what celled condition? Two-celled condition. What are the two cells? One is in a vegetative cell and second one is in a generative cell. Okay, so most of the angiosperms that are mainly produce the two-celled stage, and remaining some are produces the three-celled stage. So three-celled stage means, so actually the in the presence of vegetative, the generative cells is undergo divide mitotically to produce the two mole gametes. Okay, so before the pollen grains are released from the microsporangium. Okay, so that's why the stage is called as three-celled stage. Okay, so here this is then a structure regarding to the pollen grain. Structure regarding to the pollen grain. Okay, now coming to that, so the pollen grains are also very useful in preparation of different syrups and Ayurvedic medicines and etc. etc. And some of the pollen grains are also harmful to the human body, so which causes the different kinds of fever, hay fever, like already I told you, the Porthenium hysteroporus, so which is an just you see the structure here. So actually it is in a pollen tetrad. So when they release, that produces the microspore. Okay, these microspore mainly consist of the nucleus. So when it undergo a division, so one bigger cell is formed which is called as vegetative, and one smaller cell is called as generative cell. Okay, so in the two-celled conditions, so which is released from the microsporangium. So these are the different microscopic, scanning electronic microscopic pictures of the pollen grains. So they are different in structures depending upon the species. Okay, so just you see here, all the pollen grains are beautiful. Okay, so now coming, already I told you, so some are very important that shows that means that that having a different kinds of economic importance. Some are also caused severe allergies and bronchial infections, or like respiratory disorders, asthma and bronchitis and etc etc. Already we know that one, the carrot grass or congress grass, Parthenium hysterophorus. Okay, so that cause hay fever to the human being. So when it is entering to the human being. Okay, so these are the few points regarding to that one. So actually two pollen products are also marketed nowadays, so which are
సార్ వాయిస్ చాలా స్లోగా వస్తుంది.
okay Nana. So actually bee pollen, so which is an important product that prepared from the pollen grains only, pollen grains, and because of it has high nutrients, so those nutrients are also prepared for the using of different syrups and medicines and etc etc. Okay, these are the points that regarding to the pollen grains. Okay, so till now we studied about the microsporogenesis. The releasing of pollen grains from the microsporangium is known as microsporogenesis. So which is in a first part. Now coming to the second part, what it is? Megasporogenesis. Okay, megasporogenesis. So actually the male part of the Dendroceum produce the pollen grains. Okay, these pollen grains are released into the air and they reach to the stigma. Okay, so before that, so the female reproductive organ, what it is? So which is in a gynoecium. Okay, this gynoecium is also developed and it is ready to receive the pollen grains which releases from that anther. Okay, so here the pistil and megasporangium, so nothing but it is called as ovule and also embryo sac or female gametophyte. So already we know that one, the gynoecium is represents the female reproductive part of the flower. So actually the gynoecium is mainly consists of the depend upon the pistil. So it is in a single carpel, nothing but it is called as a monocarpellary and bicarpal, two carpal, tricarpellary, three carpal, tetracarpal, four carpals, pentacarpellary, five carpals, and multicarpellary, more number of carpels. Okay, depending upon the carpel number, so the gynoecium may contain, if it is in a single pistil or single carpel, so it is in a monocarpellary. So if you see that what it is, mango, so the mango fruit that only consists the single seed because of it is in a monocarpellary plant. Okay, monocarpellary plant. So coming to that one, multicarpellary. So if guava is in a multicarpellary fruit, so if you cut the guava fruit, so you can find out the more number of the seeds, more number of seeds. Okay, that nothing but it is called as a multicarpellary. Okay, so here the whatever the pistils or carpels that present in the flower, so which are fused or which are union, so it is called as syncarpus. So they are free, which is called as apocarpus. Okay, so each pistil that has in it three parts, that is already I told you what it is: stigma, style, and ovary. Okay, so inside the ovary, what is present? Ovarian cavity is present, so it is called as lacule. So the number of lacules is also vary from one species to the another species. So if it is found only the one lacule, so it is called as unilacular, two lacule, bilacular, three lacule, trilacular, four lacule, tetralacular, five lacule, pentalacular, and etc. Multilacular, etc. Okay, so the placenta located inside the ovarian cavity. So these placenta, which is helpful for that attachment of the ovule to the ovarian cavity. Attachment of the ovule to the ovarian cavity, that is called as placenta. Okay, so here the placenta that consists of attached to the number of ovules. So these ovules are arises from the placenta, and number of ovules inside the ovary may be the single or maybe the many. I already told you. So if the ovary is many, the maybe the single ovule is present. So maybe the many ovules are present. So according to the number of ovules, only the seeds are formed after the fertilization. Okay, coming to the structure of the microsporangium or ovule. So already I told you ovule is in a small structure that attaches the placenta of the locule, so which is called as funicule. Okay, so for example, so just you see the picture here. Okay, this is an ovule. Okay, these ovule that have a stalk. So this stalk it is attached to the ovary wall or locule wall or locule cavity. Okay, so which is called as funiculus. Okay, so the first funiculus, so which is a stalk-like structures that attach to the ovule to the placenta. Okay, the body of the ovule fused with the funicule, so which is called as hilum. The body of the ovule which is fused with the funicule is called as hilum. So hilum nothing but it is in a junction between the funicule and ovule. So it is in a junction between the funicule and ovule. So each ovule is covered with two protective layers, so which are called as integuments. So if it is covered with two protective layers, so they are called as bitegmic ovules. Bi means two, tegma means the protective layers. So some of the ovules that are also having only the single protective layer, so which are called as unitegmic ovules. Unitegmic ovule. So these integuments are covered with an ovule except the opening, so which is called as micropyle. So because of that, whatever the ovule internal tissue that are not completely surrounded with the integuments. So the integuments leave one space at its tips. So those region is called as micropyle. Okay. So here opposite of the micropyle are end, that nothing but it is called as a chelazal end. That nothing but it is in a basal part of the ovule is considered as in a chelazal end. So now coming to the process, megasporogenesis. So I already told you each ovule that mainly contain megaspore mother cells. Okay, so megaspores mother cells. So actually these megaspores are produced from the megaspore mother cells because of each ovule that mainly consists of the nucellus tissue. So these nucellus tissue produce the many number of megaspore mother cells, and these megaspores mother cells undergo meiotic division to produce the megaspores. Okay, so actually the center of the ovule there is a mass of tissue is called as nucellus. Okay, so whenever you see the ovule center that consists of tissue which is called as nucellus. So cells of nucellus have abundant and reserve food material. So actually these are mainly filled with a food material. Okay, so actually one cell of the nucleus towards the micropylar end. So in this nucellus tissue, one act as a megaspore mother cell. So these megaspore mother cells is undergo division. Okay, it does undergo meiotic division to produce the half-life megaspores. So whatever that megaspore mother cells, so which have a dense cytoplasm with a prominent nucleus, so which involves in the meiotic divisions, and finally they produce the 4 haploid megaspore. So just you see that ovary, so which is in a funiculus stalk-like structure that are attached to the placenta. Now coming to that one, so what it is, the hilum. So the oval body is attached to the funiculus is called as hilum. So mainly the ovule is surrounded with the 2 layers, so which is called as outer integument and inner integument, and the inner and outer integument leaves some space, so which is called as micropyle, and base of the ovule that shows the chelazal end. Okay, each ovule that contain the tissue, so which is called as nucellus tissue. So in this nucellus tissue, the megaspore mother cell is present. So those megaspore mother cells undergoing meiotic division. So in these meiotic divisions, they produce megaspores. Okay, so here they produce the megaspores in a linear. That's why it is called as a linear tetrad. So in this linear tetrad, 3 cells are disintegrated and only one functional megaspore is present. So these functional megaspore is developed as in a female gametophyte. Okay, so this female gametophyte is also known as embryo sac. Okay, so actually the female gametophyte or embryo sac which is developed from only the one megaspore, so which is called as monosporic. Okay, monosporic means single megaspore. The embryo sac is developed from the single megaspore is called as monosporic type of embryo sac. Okay, so in the monosporic type of embryo sac, so actually the megaspore, so which contain one nuclei, so which involves in the 3 successive divisions, and finally they produces the 8 nucleate. So these 8 nucleate after the formation, so they involves in the karyokinesis and cytokinesis, and finally they produce the 7-celled 8 nucleate conditions embryo sac. So that we will discuss in the tomorrow class. Okay, so now I stop the sharing class. Once all the members please on your video only. For taking a screenshot. The important essay question, what it is? The structure of anther wall. Okay, the structure of anther wall is an important essay questions in this class. Remaining all also. Only few members: Asmita, Saidi, Shruti, Praveena. Remaining also: Bhavita, Ramya, Afreen. Some of first years are also added in this class. ఏమైంది ప్రవీణ, శృతి, తేజావ, శ్రవణి? ఆన్ చేయడానికి టైమా? ఇంత టైం పడుతుందా? అందిస్తే ఇంకో ఆఫ్ చేస్తున్నారు ఇంద్రబాయి. ఓకే సో నెక్స్ట్ క్లాస్ కూడా అటెండ్ కండి. అక్కడ మనం స్ట్రక్చర్ ఆఫ్ ఎంబ్రియో సైక్ అండ్ డెవలప్మెంట్ ఆఫ్ ఎంబ్రియో సైక్ చెప్పి డబుల్ ఫెర్టిలైజేషన్ చేద్దాం. ఈ చాప్టర్ నుంచి 3 essay క్వశ్చన్స్ ఉంటాయి. సో ఫ్రమ్ దిస్ 3 essay question, 1 question will compulsory come in your annual examination. So actually this is in a first year syllabus. Okay, the second year students, you have an examination in the month of August. The GOAT is decided, so that's why you go through the first year syllabus now. Okay, any more doubt? First year syllabus pose chesina nenu cheyale kada.
చేయలేదు సార్.
Now it's post the first year syllabus in the group. You go through that syllabus reference and start the learning process. Okay, any more doubts?